He's the director of one of the most prestigious choirs for boys in London, the London Oratory Schola Cantorum Boys Choir. It was founded in 1996. Their voices have graced the soundtracks of Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Harry Potter series. They've just released a brand new CD, a unique collection of sacred music titled Sacred Treasures of Rome. Here to tell us all about the new project and their upcoming U.S. tour that begins next week, Charles Cole. Charles, thanks for being here. 2025 is the 500th anniversary of Palestrina's birth, the greatest polyphonic composer of the Renaissance. Tell us who Palestrina was and why you chose his work as the main focus of this Sacred Treasures of Rome CD.
Palestrina's really the man who synthesized the most sublime, fully perfect polyphonic style of the Renaissance. He sort of brought it all together, and he's the name that's most synonymous with the best music of that period. And of course, as you say, he's got this really important milestone this year, 500th anniversary. And it seemed the obvious thing. We wanted to do a new recording, and we decided that we would definitely have some Palestrina on the recording, but we've also included other composers who were working alongside him and in his orbit, and probably in greater awe of him as well, in Rome at the same time.
The Palestrina Festival in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I know you all will be singing there. You're touring all over the U.S. And then on July 16th, you'll be singing a pontifical mass at Sacred Heart Church, celebrated by Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone. Tell us a little about the upcoming tour in this special mass and how you sort of laid out this tour.
Well, the invitation to sing came from that festival in Grand Rapids. It's an absolutely incredible achievement of that parish. They've put together a really spectacular year-long festival, which involves a choral meditation and then a mass each month. And we are doing the July one, as you say, with Archbishop Cordileone, which is a great honor, and it's nice for us to renew our relationship with him. We've sung with him before, and we've also welcomed him at the London Oratory as well.
Charles, tell us about some of the other works on this album, contemporaries of Palestrina, and why those were chosen as part of the CD.
Well, I decided to do some research. So I went to Rome last year, and I was digging around trying to find things that I might not otherwise have come across. And what I discovered was quite interesting. There were a number of composers who had great links to St. Philip Neri at the Rome Oratory, which of course was highly significant really for us as a choir, and very, very nice to see this. Palestrina knew St. Philip Neri very well. He actually died in his arms at the end of his life, which is an extraordinary thing. And there's a particular composer, Giovanni Animuccia, who was a priest at it wasn't quite founded as the Oratory yet, but in the early days of the Oratory, Giovanni Animuccia was a priest working with St. Philip, and he was a very, very accomplished composer. But much of his music went missing. And it turned out that the parchment on which it was written was of such value that it was actually sold to a cheesemonger in Rome to wrap cheese. It just seems like a terrible crime, but that music all went missing. But there are pieces scattered around in different libraries, and I found a very beautiful piece which I was able to reconstruct, O Crux Ave Spes Unica, which is very, very beautiful. But there are some other amazing composers on the album too. Probably another really interesting story is the Anerio brothers, Felice and Giovanni. They were very closely linked with St. Philip and the Oratory, and their mother actually used to do laundry for St. Philip. So there's a very close-knit connection there. And all of these people are absolutely standout composers, really incredible.
I want to give viewers a little taste of what they'll hear on Sacred Treasures of Rome. Take a look. Charles, before we run out of time, talk to me for a moment about sacred music and how important it is to preserve it, not only in the liturgy, but in the wider culture, particularly at a time when traditional forms of the liturgy are under attack, being suppressed, even within the church.
It's such an important thing, this beautiful music, and as you say, it has a very flourishing life outside the church. There are so many commercial groups who go around the world singing concerts and making recordings, and that's absolutely wonderful. And they kind of keep the standards elevated as something that we should all aspire to. Liturgically, as you say, it's much harder to achieve. You need to be very, very committed to want a liturgical program that is going to involve music of this kind of level. But there's lots of encouragement, and Pope Leo himself recently gave a really beautiful address, which I'm sure you'll be aware of, where he was actually launching a set of Vatican stamps honoring Palestrina, and he spoke very movingly about the way the different parts move inside the polyphonic world of Palestrina, and they kind of give way to each other. They come together to create very beautiful moments, and then they move back into their place again. And he was using that as a sort of analogy for what we should do as Christians. So I think that's great encouragement indeed.
Well, we will leave it there. Sacred Treasures of Rome by the London Oratory Schola Cantorum Boys Choir is available now at music outlets everywhere and online, including Amazon and Apple Music. For more information on their U.S. tour, beginning on July 16th in Grand Rapids, Michigan, visit LondonOratorySchola.com. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.